That was an odd day. I came over here thinking I'm gonna freeze, right? I brought an extra thing for my face and had my winter gloves with me. Usually it's quite a bit warmer over here in Pennsylvania, so you don't get that Ontario freeze. But I thought I would, right? I came down last night a little bit early. I get in Tuesday night. So woke up this morning, got a lot of work done, and got over to the track. I walk up to the track. It's muddy. It's still cold. Now, I have it set for Fahrenheit. I know 32 is zero. It still says 25. But when the sun hit that track, whatever snow they had ground into it, I assume that's what happened. Turned to water, and somehow it was muddy. It was like my worst nightmare. I'm going to freeze, but get covered in mud at the same time. It was shocking, alarming, and frustrating all at the same time. So I was a little peeved with the mud, but it is what it is. I went there to drive some horses. We were going to get them driven. So, oh my God. I woke up this morning. I've done this like 4 times, and the reason I know I've done it 4 times is because I have 4 razors at home, the handles for like Schick or Gillette or whatever. I forgot my razor. It annoyed me to the point where I thought I could just hold the little blade in my hand and shave my face. In my mind, it made sense. So I just put some conditioner on my face. I'm like, all right. Got the first 2 done, and I'm like, oh, I can't do this. What do you mean? What do you mean you can't do it? You already put 2 streaks on your face. It's like running out of gas in your lawnmower. You already got 1 line done. You gotta muscle through. So it looks a little ratty, but I got the first cut off it anyway. It was nip and tuck there. At one point I'm like, you're gonna cut your face off. I'm gonna look like the Joker. I'm gonna get the meadows. I'm gonna be off my drives with 5 stitches on my face. Anyway, it worked out. I got it through. It's done. Not a big deal. So I get to the track, warmed up Britska. I'm going to tell you what, there's a horse that's come a long way. For those of you who maybe don't remember the Britska saga, where Britska came from, what he was, we bought him pretty affordable, if I remember correctly, 9 or 10,000. Maybe it was more. It wasn't expensive. Trained him now. I had no luck in Indiana, but he had his moments. He was second in 59 once, but he was always crazy. Wore hobbles and hot, and goofy, and training down. He was a complete disaster some days. Leap and make breaks, just a frustrating little troll of an animal. And then we turned him out at 2. Come back, and he was a nice little horse. Not hot, a little grabby, but not bad. Certainly not anything like he was at 2. Just behaved. An actual nice horse to do anything with. The hobbles, didn't need them anymore. I raced him once at Mohawk, kind of give him a tough trip, but I at that point, rule number 1 was in effect. Keep him trotting. Brought him over here today. He actually behaved. We were in the muddy spot, and, truthfully speaking, in hindsight, had I wheeled him out first over getting into the last turn and really got into him and raced him hard, he's a winner. I think he's a winner. But I gave him the benefit of the doubt. From what I saw, I'm second. Worst case, around the last turn, I look over my shoulder, nothing coming. Horse in the front's horse in the 2 holes got the earplugs out. So does the horse in the front. So I'm thinking, the horse in the front's vulnerable, but I know I'm second at worst. Don't go overboard. Don't go overboard. I clear second halfway down the lane, or coming out of the last turn. I'm thinking, guy in the front's gone. Aaron's gone by 2 lengths. Don't put him on the run in the mud just to try and win when you're second. Pick. I'm beat a length, maybe a tick less than a length. If I had leaned into him a couple and raced him hard down the lane, I think I'm a winner. But he'll get there. Very impressed with that colt. Now, in saying that, this is a colt that's a little funny with his appetite, still a little lighter than he should be. He's going to grow into be a decent-sized colt, but low-stress environments will help that. So I'm happy that I didn't really drop the hammer coming out of the turn and really went at him and tried to win. I will win. He'll win a maiden. There's no 2 ways about that. He'll be a decent little horse, and he's going to be a nice horse for us. But raced well to be second today. Very impressed with the maturity of Fox Valley Britska. Very impressed with the maturity. When it was spend that money, she didn't really want to pop out of the gate the way I hoped, but the mud is tough on her. She's never been a mud type, right? I pulled up. I moved her in a bad spot. You guys know it. Getting into the last turn, it looked like the horse, they were jamming up along the rail, but outer flow was where I wanted to be with her. She got a little rolly, but not bad. She just had nothing to offer. I told Tim after, we're going to take her home, work hard on her, change her shoes. She feels like if we could get her away from hitting that hind leg right now, she could probably race without hobbles. Maybe. So I'm going to take her home and tinker with it. I said I wasn't going to do it, but I'm doing it. I'm going to spend that money home and race her home. The shorter horses at Mohawk, who knows? It may be a disaster, but as I drive down the road right now with the race fresh in my mind, I believe she should come home. So we're going to take her home. Now, next is, that was Spend That Money. Britska raced great. Spend That Money did not. And now we go to Frilly Fringes. I raced one of Tim's. She was fourth. The horse, one of the favorites, made front with an open bridle on. He was trying to pull up, and I removed. Thankfully, I removed just in time for him to follow along and beat me handily and win the race. I should have stayed in the 2-hole, goes without saying. But, nevertheless, it is what it is. I put him back on the front end, put her back on the front end. She was fourth, beat a neck for third, raced okay. Looks like she's going to race her way into being an okay filly. And then I went with Frilly Fringes. Speaking of Frilly Fringes went. Now, I didn't want her on the front. I don't want her on the front end. I knew I could get out in a way to follow the 4. Everything went according to plan. 2 horses, earplugs are out getting into the last turn. The horse in the front's done. I look over my shoulder, give the one a little squeeze. You're done. Go away. We come out of the turn. She should have won. Now, second lifetime start, blah, blah, blah. I give you a bunch of shit. She should have won. She got beat, and she'll get stronger for it. But any high percentage of Eye of the Tiger, and she just coasts past on momentum. Now the horse, here's your silver lining. The horse that won the race has got about 800 starts. I think it's just turned 3. I think it's like got 25 or 20, whatever, how many starts. Got a lot of starts. So, experience level wise, the horse that won the race has a lot of experience, has stake experience. Okay, fine. I still think she should have won, but she raced okay. Take nothing away from her. She's going to get stronger. She did everything right. She left, followed, attacked. Just didn't finish off her meal, but she raced well. Very happy with Frilly Fringes. Want to see better. You know, this is a filly that did come first over and win the qualifier, so maybe she just needs a little more power, a little more strength, a few more starts, some more work. So we'll go with that theory. She needs more work. She raced okay. She raced well. Finished second. A couple of seconds, and I don't think I drove Spend That Money great, but I don't think she raced great. She didn't do me any favors. I didn't do her any favors, and it didn't work out well. We'll get her home. I'm thinking, I said to Tim, maybe draw the papers on Oso Pine, Spend That Money, and we might even take Tiger home for a little bit. The shorter horses, they're looking for horses at Mohawk right now, every day. One with 9 races. Now, will that continue? We have a bunch to qualify. Other people also do, but that isn't the answer. I mean, there's tons of horses that left. Horses that you ship to the Meadowlands and the Yonkers that are racing good, you're not bringing them home. So they're going to remain somewhat short for a little while, a little thinned out. Great thing about trucks is they work both ways. So I said to Tim, maybe we'll see how Pine races on Friday, but it looks like maybe Pine will come home, Tiger will come home, Spend That Money will come home, because in 2 weeks, when we get them rocking, Braemar, Captain's Maid, and a Glare AM will be heading to Pennsylvania. So a little swap out there, coming in the way of White Tiger, Oso Pine, and Spend That Money more than likely. Now, other people have been asking me nonstop, what about Symba? Updates on Symba? I don't blame you. You want an update on Symba? I'll give you one. I talked to Billy. We sat down and spoke about what went on with Off-Road Hanover. I knew what went on with Off-Road Hanover. I knew 5 steps out of the gate when he started to struggle going into the turn. I knew what was up with Off-Road Hanover. He was slipping. They don't usually need a ton of cork at Northfield Park, right? They got dumped on with snow and ice. and then it looked like the track was hard. It can only be hard for one reason after so much snow and such cold temperatures. It's because it's frozen solid. And I knew when he rolled off going into the turn, I said, bet you he doesn't have a lot of cork on that horse. Came to me tonight, he said, when I left at 1 o'clock, the track was good, they were going to cut it, screen it, and they thought it'd be okay. Then somebody had the bright idea to scrape the top off. They love doing this. They did it 4 or 5 times last year when we were there. Scrape this top surface off the track. Just got ice underneath. It's just ice. So Off-Road Hanover didn't have enough cork and rolled off. I knew it. I didn't want to push Billy. I knew it. As soon as he ran, I knew what had just taken place. So back in next week for Off-Road Hanover. Now, Stonebridge Symba, I took the time to reach out to the University of Guelph, to reach out to a couple of experts in the field of arrhythmia and hearts and ask them their opinions. They were all of the same belief that it was anomalous. Could be Lasix, could just be the weather. You know, if it gets really cold, the horses don't drink a lot. They do need to drink. They're athletes. And that can screw up their electrolytes. You are looking for a problem, and you may find one. They all agreed that this was a horse that is now 5, has been healthy his whole life, had no issues with heart of any kind in the past, is on Lasix, does have cold weather. More than likely, you're looking at an electrolyte imbalance that caused this. No guarantees, but more than likely, that's what you're looking for. So when they atrial fib, their heartbeat is out of sync, and it has to be put back in sync. Now, they can do it on their own, which obviously you want to see, or they need medication to have it done. That medication is called quinidine, I think. Now, I personally have never had a horse that had to have their heart rate medically put back in place, but I've never really had that many horses at AFib before. So, many of you may not know this, but Billy Rhodes' wife is a vet, very accomplished, smart veterinarian. They took him to the clinic, got him looked at. Heartbeat was perfect, was proper. So, which even leads you more to believe that it was an electrolyte imbalance. So, Billy said, I don't think this horse needs Lasix. Okay, if you don't, that's great. He did in the summer. If you don't think he needs Lasix, fine, take him off Lasix. So I think what Billy is looking to do is qualify him next week without Lasix. Now, I talked to Greg, our partner, one of my partners on the horse, and a number of people are like, why don't we just rest him? Well, we can. I'm not going to weigh in negative or pro or con on that. I will offer you the pros and cons. The pro of resting him he will come back fresher. The negative part of resting him is you're going to have him back just in time for them to start going really fast in the latter parts of spring into summer. So we have a horse that won an open, which he'd never done before, had this odd atrial fibrillation in his heart. It rectified itself. Great news. Do we just rest him? We can. But the timing of it, I think, maybe let's just see how this plays out over the next little bit. We can rest Stonebridge Symba. He's going to respond well to any resting at any time. Let's allow him to qualify. We'll see how he qualifies, and we'll talk to Billy, and we'll make a decision. At some point, we'll rest him. I just don't know if now is the time to do it. And it may very well be now the time to do it. Let's let him tell us. All right? Is that fair? I think that's the best way to go. So, overall, we talked about Off-Road Hanover making the break. I was certain as soon as he did it what happened. Stonebridge Symba, a little update on his AFib, what happened with him. He'll need to requalify next week. He's planning on it at Northfield Park. Next is the 3 horses that raced today. Disappointed to spend that money. Disappointed myself for the trip she got, but very happy with myself and both horses in the maidens. I think Frilly Fringes should have been a winner, but raced okay, beaten by a much, much more experienced horse. And Fox Valley Britska, I think this guy's rounding into a nice little horse. Who knows what he'll be? Very happy with what I see from Fox Valley Britska. I'm not wishing anybody good luck tonight. Every time I wish somebody good luck, they make a break or flip their heart or something. Not talking about it, but I am going to be watching. So, that is it. That's your midweek video. Hopefully, no problems passing back through the border tonight. I know that Canada's tightening the restrictions on border crossings. I don't think it affects anybody that's considered a cross-border worker, which I am, but I will ask for a little clarification when I come through tonight, because that may change the way I travel in the future, right? We do have series coming up in March. We have stake races starting in Ohio. It won't be long now. You're going to go to bed and wake up and it's going to be June. So a lot rides on the border here in 3 hours time. But for today, I would have been happier to get to the winner's circle with Frilly, second with Britska. I would have been gushing and happy. Instead, I'm just happy. Happy that things worked out well. We got a couple of deuces today. I'm happy with that. Gonna take a look and spend that money and get Pine and Tiger home, refresh them. Mohawk seems to be a place that could accommodate them quite easily right now. Makes sense. And then we'll continue to move forward. A ton of horses training and getting ready to prep for next week. Some will qualify, some will be right into race. But within the next 10 days, we should have over 20 horses racing in Ontario. So that is your midweek update. I hope you guys had a good day. I didn't covered in mud. The races were good. The track sucked. It's still cold. 25 Fahrenheit mud. How do you do that? They should patent that, whatever they did. Anyway, talk to you guys soon. Take care. Stay warm, especially if you're in Texas. Ooh, that's nasty. Talk to you guys soon.